the Growing Towards God podcast. Here on Growing Towards God, we talk about ways to grow spiritually and hear how God has been working in people's lives. My name is Virginia, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Thank you for listening, so now let's get to the good stuff. So today I have a very special guest on the podcast, my ride or die, Sasha.
Hey everyone, I'm so honored to be here.
We're so excited to have Sasha. So Sasha, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're going to do 2 truths and a lie.
Ooh, this is always so fun. Let me think here. All right. I've clogged the toilet with a lemon before. I had a red-tailed pet squirrel when I was like 7. And in high school, I attended an overnight ski trip in Vermont with some friends. Good luck.
This is hard. The lie?
Yeah, find the lie.
I think that it is the overnight ski trip in Vermont.
Oh, why?
I don't know. That's just a guess.
So you really think I clogged the toilet with a lemon?
Yeah. I feel like that's something you would do as a kid.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you if you're right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, Virginia knows me too well. Like, wow.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I have clogged the toilet with a lemon before. And I was like 3 with my sister. It was hilarious. My dad was so mad. They're like, you're not getting any Christmas gifts. And then it was like the best Christmas ever. So it was really funny. And then we had like 3 red-tailed squirrels come in our yard and like hang out with us for so long. And then they all grew up and that was sad. And then, I did not end up going on an overnight ski trip with friends in high school, but like that was something I always wanted to do. And like I saw so many people doing it and I was like, oh, that looks so fun. Like I wish I could do that. And I was kind of getting like FOMO.
Yeah, interesting that you mentioned that, because today we're going to be talking about how to stay present and be in the moment and like FOMO, which is like fear of missing out. And so, yeah, Sasha, do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, so honestly, I think I really struggled like all throughout my life and even like still to this day, like just staying in the present moment and like just enjoying where I'm at and not getting FOMO. And I just love planning stuff and I love to like, talk about the future, think about the future. But it was almost like I was getting like obsessed with it. And I think a lot of that had to do with like me like being on social media and looking at like stuff that a lot of things I'd be like, oh, I'll achieve that in the future, like the fitness goals, the travel goals, the house and spouse goals, like all the fun stuff. And I was just kind of like sad after and unfulfilled. And, it is good to talk about the future and think about the future, but don't like obsess about it. And that was something I was definitely doing. So I guess ways I found myself being able to like be more present and not experience that FOMO. Let me think here. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so I think it's really hard to like let go and let God control your life when you're constantly like looking at things and you want to be in that next phase of your life.
Yeah.
And so that's so hard. And especially with social media now, I feel like I follow a lot of people that are like young and married and like are having kids and it's like, oh, that's so exciting, like, but I'm not in that stage of life right now. And so you have to really appreciate where you are at, because one day where you are at isn't going to be where you're at. And you're going to wish that you would have enjoyed being where you were at more when you were there.
That's so valid. Yeah, I just like see other people's life on social media and just like their highlights. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool they get to do that. And then I feel like I'm missing out. And it's like, that's just thinking in a space of scarcity. Like, I'm just thinking of all they're getting to do and experience is like making it less available for me and my future. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Like
someone else's success doesn't take away from your success. Someone else's happiness doesn't take away from your happiness. And that's so hard to remember too. But yeah, you just have to appreciate where you are at and be grateful for what you do have, because I believe that everyone is living in an answered prayer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, quick little sidetrack. Last summer, I was just going through it. Like, it was tough. Like, really tough. And I remember praying to God, being like, God, like, I don't want to be, like, sad and feeling depressed anymore. Like, I'm so over it. Like, I'm just so over it. And I was just like, oh, Lord, like, I just want to not experience this anymore. And then this summer, I was, like, crying tears of joy of, like, this is the answered prayer. Like, this was me feeling joy that I had wanted so bad last summer. And so I agree, like, everyone is living in a answered prayer. And, like, we just have to realize that more. Like, I think taking a step back and, like, looking at our life and where we're at and being in that present moment. And that can look different for everyone, like, being in the present moment. But I think for myself, like, I've often done this, like, driving with no music, as weird as that sounds. Like, just, like, enjoying nature and, like, thinking about God and, like, or, like, driving with music, like, Christian music, like, really listening to the words and feeling, like, so uplifted and, like, yes, I resonate with that. Yes, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am fully known and fully loved. And that is so powerful. And, like, through that, I've been able to, like, experience so much freedom from, like, comparison and, like, the thought of missing out and getting FOMO. Because I'm taking a step back and being like, I'm living in an answered prayer. I have everything I need to survive. Like, I need to be more grateful and, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
nice.
think that's cool. Like, what you speak, like, comes true, I feel like. And so if you're constantly speaking negatively over yourself and not, like, declaring truth in your life, then you're gonna feel, like, in your spirit and your soul, like, the impact of that. And so I think it is really important to take time to just be quiet and, like, let your brain have a break, because our world is so overstimulated. Like, schoolwork, I'm constantly on my computer staring at a screen. Like, and it's so sad, especially when it's nice out. You know, you just want to go read a book outside, but you can't. And so you just gotta shut your brain off sometimes and, like, be quiet and just be thankful for what you do have.
Right. And I even think, like, just thinking back to, like, experiencing that happiness and, like, not feeling that sense of scarcity, like, I would look at other people's life on social media and be like, oh, I wish that was me. Like, why can't that be me? And, like, be angry at God. But then it's, like, spending time with myself, growing to enjoy my own company, and growing in faith, and, like, spending daily time in the Word, and, like, listening to Christian music, experiencing so much joy from that I, like, can't even grasp how to explain. And I learned that, like, how to be happy for friends when they get to experience things I wanted to or hope to do in the future. And, like, yeah, I just learned how to be happy for my friends when they did get to experience the things that I'd wanted and hoped to do. And, like, their experiences not create less space for me to have my own.
Yeah, and I think the mindset that you have, if you're like, FOMO, I'm so scared of missing out on everything, is so bad, because it's like, it's selfish. Like, I want to experience this. I want to do this. I'm not there yet. You know, very unappreciative of where you currently are. And I think you have to switch that mindset from, like, what am I missing out on, focusing on what you're missing out on, to, like, God has placed me somewhere else that's not there, and, like, how can I serve him in this moment and in this situation, and be open to what he has for me, because God can work in every situation, no matter what. He's working in your life, and you can grow and learn in the current place that you're in, and he can use that. He's placed you in this spot for a reason. So figure out what it is and just be open to how he's going to work in your life. And it might not be in ways that you think. I feel like I tend to put God in a box, but he's so much bigger than a box.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I feel like I have, like, all these, like, ideas about what I want my life to be like. And, like, what God has planned is probably and is so much better than, like, what I have planned. And, like, I just need to, like, take a seat back and, like, let him drive the bus. And, like, it will always just work out better than I thought. Like, it's like, man plans and God laughs. Like, you just can't. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you know, it's so crippling to feel the need to have everything figured out and, like, being in control. I did air quotes there. In control of your life, because you're not in the driver's seat. God is. So you just really have to trust God's timing, and he'll use you if you're open to it. And it's way easier to use something or someone if you're moving in steps, because he'll guide your steps. He won't, I mean, not that he won't, but it's, have you heard this analogy before? It's like, you're like a car, and when a car is driving, it's easier to direct it than when it's parked. And so if you're taking steps toward a goal or just living your life and praying and trying to honor him with everything you do, then he's going to present opportunities to you to continue to love him and serve him. And, like, you're not going to miss out on anything.
Right. And another thing, too, I feel like that kind of ties into it. It's like we have this fear of missing out, right? But it's like God has this plan. And, like, he knows what will make us happy. Yeah. So he's going to put these plans in place that are going to be so unimaginable, or maybe imaginable. You never know. It could be simple. And we're not going to feel like we're missing out when we're at the place where God wants us to be. I think it's when we stop worrying. It kind of reminds me of, like, the time we went somewhere. I don't know when.
We've gone a lot of places.
The beach or something. And we were, like, stressing about the weather. And we're like, oh, it's going to be terrible. Yeah. And we're, like, trying to control it. Like, oh, if it's good, like, we'll do this. If it's bad, we'll do this. And it's like, remember we just took a step back and be like, you know what, whatever happens, like, just coming to terms, whatever happens, like, God's got it in control, and we're still gonna have a great day. And then when we stopped worrying and stopped trying to control the situation, like, that's when God was like, here you go.
Yeah,
here's
so
beautiful weather.
They were coming to my house this summer, and the forecast was like, it's gonna rain the entire weekend, and I was like, no, like, this is the one weekend that I need it to be nice.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, waking up that day, and I checked the forecast, and it still said it was going to rain, like, right when they were supposed to come. And so I just prayed, and I was like, you know, you're still going to make this be a fun and sweet time.
Yeah.
No matter what, even if it's raining and we can't go to the beach, or if it's not raining, you know. And so then I just stopped thinking about it, and it didn't rain one drop, and we got pizza and went to the beach and watched the sunset. And it was, like, the most magical night, because we stopped thinking about it and obsessing over it when it's not, the weather is not in your control. So it's, like, there's literally nothing you can do about that. And so, yeah, that was just so freeing. And we were like, wow, this is so cool. Like, it was such a God moment.
That, and also, like, not worrying about it, stressing about it, allowed us to be more in the present moment and enjoy our time with each other. Than me stressing about, like, oh, the what ifs, like, kind of what society always wants you to do. What if, like, like, we don't need to be in a mindset of scarcity. We don't need to be in a mindset of panic. Like, our life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. Like, he created earth, he created heaven, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's so comforting. I always find comfort in that.
Yeah.
Knowing that someone has a plan, a map for my life, and, you know, I don't hold it, but the directions will be given to me when I need them.
It kind of reminds me, and maybe Virginia will know this, like the story about Peter in the boat, and Jesus, like, crossed the ocean, and then the storm happens, and I think it's in Matthew.
I think it's in all 4 Gospels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, taking a step out and walking on the water.
Right, and, like, with that, like, Peter was like, God, like, why are you sleeping? Like, don't you see what's happening? Like, come on, what the heck? Like, wake up, like, do your thing. And, like, God has all power. He literally quieted the sea. Like, there's so many hurricanes happening right now. Like, imagine, like, you were on a boat, and God's just like, shh.
Yeah,
like, it's just quiet.
Jesus just woke up from a nap and was like, be still, and then it quieted. Like,
yeah.
That's
like,
so funny.
That's what he can do with things in our life, you know? Like, he has the ability to move mountains, and he has the ability to put things in our life that will bring us so much joy or bring us hardships, bring us closer to him. And that's why we don't need to feel, like, stressed about what's coming. That's why we don't need to feel FOMO, because, like, it's in control. Like, God has it in control.
Yeah. And so maybe you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, that sounds great, but I have so many things going on in my life, and I need to know what's happening, and I'm so stressed about it. And so I would just encourage you to find someone to talk to about that, and not be alone in your stress over that, because I've definitely been there. I'm sure you've been there.
Oh, yeah.
And, like
all last semester.
Yeah. It's so tough to, like, feel like you have to walk through that alone. So I would really encourage you to find someone to talk to, and talk to God about it. He can handle your angry moments and your questions. He's worthy of your trust. And, I think that by talking to him about it, it is so, like, freeing to just get it off your chest. And, yeah, he'll give you peace if you ask for it.
Power prayer, people.
Yeah.
Power prayer.
Yeah.
Prayer.
Yeah. So what would you say to the listener that is questioning whether God can be trusted and, like, with their life? And it's kind of a heavy question, but yeah.
I would just say, like, what's the loss in, like, allowing someone to take control? Like, what is there to lose? I feel like there's just only to gain.
Yeah.
There's freedom. There's joy. There's, just, it's all good things. I mean, at least I think. And so I would say to the listener, like, kind of like what Virginia said, like, find a mentor. Find the most godly person you know, and maybe, slide God a prayer and be like, hey, I'm nervous. I gotta talk to this person. Like, I'm really nervous. Like, God, help me. Give me the courage to talk to this person. Whatever, the mentor. Mm-hmm. And, ask them, be like, how can I not stress about my life? How can I let God be at the center of my life? How can I not be in a mindset of scarcity and not feel like other people's success is my loss, and that creates less space for me to succeed? Mm-hmm. I think I found so many mentors throughout my college career, between, like, staff in the Christian club we're a part of on campus, and also, like, Virginia being one of my best friends, like, and a bunch of people at our church as well. But I think just talking to people and telling them where you're at, and, like, having them pray for you. Like, the power of prayer is so real. It's so real.
It is. I've definitely experienced that too. But yeah, I think one last thing, like, when you remember that God is ordering your steps and setting you up for good things and his perfect timing, that your fear of missing out won't be able to take hold of your thoughts and emotions, because you know that he has what's best for you. And so you don't need to feel like fear missing out on good things, because all things work for the good of those who love him. Yeah. And so I think that that's really encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, like, just what it says in Psalm 32:8, like, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Like, exactly what Virginia said, and that's just some biblical evidence to back it up. That's a knee slapper.
Yeah. Yeah, so anything else you want to add?
I would just say to the listener, too, like, if you want someone to talk to, we will be your ears. We will be your friend. Yeah. Like, we
DM
love people.
Me. Growing Towards God Pod on Instagram.
Yes. By the way, we are college students. So if you're a college student and you're going through it, like, I bet one of us have been there before and would love to talk to you. And yeah, find a mentor. Listen to Christian music. Listen to Christian podcasts. Like, spend time in the Word with God. Yes. Pray. It's not like a to-do list, but it's like things that will bring about the most joy. And I definitely experienced this summer. And I really want that for you too. Yeah. Just know that you're so loved.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening today to the Growing Towards God podcast, and this episode featuring Sasha, my bestie, ride or die. Yeah, and I'm just going to pray over this episode before I end.
Amazing.
Yes. Dear God, thank you.
That was a big hop for a prayer. You got it. We're taking it seriously. Guys, we cannot be serious. We laugh too much. This out. No, leave it. Be authentic. Okay.
Okay. Dear God, thank you for today and for whoever's listening to this podcast. And I just pray that if they're feeling stress and fear of missing out on good things in their life, that you would just take that away and give them peace. Your peace that
surpasses all understanding.
Yes, your peace that surpasses all understanding, and that they would be able to come to you and be truthful and honest about their feelings and emotions and what they're scared of, Lord. And I pray that you would just give them true joy and increase their gratitude for what they do have right now, currently. yeah, I just pray over the rest of our days that we would grow in our love and our knowledge of you, Lord. Thank you for all of your good and perfect gifts and for being the one that orchestrates our lives. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Woo!
Alrighty, thanks for listening, guys, and catch you next time.
Have a blessed week. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you took something meaningful away from this discussion and know that God loves you so much and desires a personal relationship with you. If you'd like to stay up to date with episodes, follow me on Instagram at Growing Towards God Pod and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Before I go, I'd like you to take this benediction into your life and let the Lord's goodness empower you today. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Have a great rest of your day and catch you next time on the Growing Towards God podcast.